Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Grow Through It podcast. My name is Julia, and if you listened last week, you'll know that I discussed red flags in my previous relationships that I ignored. I first just want to thank all of you for the support I received from that episode. It means so much to me that you support me and my healing journey. In today's episode, I wanted to focus more on the positives. One of my best friends actually suggested this topic after learning I was going to talk about red flags and knowing how healthy and loving my relationship is now. I feel like as a society, we do spend a lot of time talking about the red flags and what to avoid, and although it is very important to know those things, hence why I did an episode on it, we also have to know the positive signs too. What are the green flags that show you're in a healthy, loving relationship? I mentioned in the last episode that my friend showed me how women should be treated by the way her husband treated her and how our male friends treated us. I never had that before, and it really opened my eyes to the potential out there. Then, of course, I met the most wonderful man, and we've been together almost 3 years now. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the key green flags that indicate a trusting, respectful, and healthy relationship. Whether you're dating, in a relationship, married, or single and looking for a healthy relationship for the future, this episode will help you to recognize the positive signs and build a much better, happier, and stronger connection. Green flag number 1, open and honest communication. I have never felt more comfortable talking about my feelings, thoughts, and concerns with anybody than I have with Paul. He truly listens to what I have to say without judgment, and he validates how I feel. Even if he doesn't always agree with me, he listens to what I am saying and tries to understand my perspective. I'll be honest, this was very foreign to me at the beginning, and I actually had trouble communicating at first. He taught me that you can have your own opinions and feelings and express them safely. I learned to communicate in a much calmer way. I always felt on edge before him to communicate how I feel because I was so scared of the backlash from it. But he shows me such patience and love when I communicate to him. When you are talking to your partner, you should always feel safe to share without fear of judgment. Your partner should actively listen to you and address the concerns you bring up, not just say what you want to hear. If you disagree, this should not turn into an explosive fight. Of course, you may get frustrated at times, but it's so important that you resolve things respectfully. If you need to walk away for a bit to cool down, that's okay. But there should never be yelling, name-calling, or feeling unsafe. Communication, in my opinion, is one of the most important foundations to a relationship. So it is so important you and your partner can communicate in a calm and healthy way. Green flag number 2, shared values and future goals. This is also one of the most important things to talk about and agree on. If you do not have similar values and goals as your partner, this can cause many issues. Have you discussed what you want for the future? Do you both want kids? Are you wanting to adopt? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? How do you want to raise your kids? What are your priorities in regards to health? I remember my first date with Paul, and we were discussing some of our values and beliefs. He told me that he has always valued passion over money and thinks you should never be stuck in a job you hate long term just for the money. My eyes literally lit up when he said this because that is something that is extremely important for me. We also both value health and fitness and both have similar career and financial goals. These things are so incredibly important. I could not be with someone who just sat around and played video games all the time. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not the type of person I want to be with. Paul has pushed me so much to become better both mentally and physically. He supports me and drives me to work harder and try new things. We love working out together, going for walks, going hiking, and talking about health and wellness. These things are so important for a relationship. One question you can ask yourself is, are we moving in the same direction? Do we have a shared vision for the future? If you have very different values and goals from your partner, typically that means one of you will have to make some sacrifices and you will have to find a compromise. If you're truly willing to do that without any resentment, then you can definitely work on it together. However, I believe that having the same or at least similar life goals and values is going to be crucial for a healthy relationship. Green flag number 3, consistency and reliability. Having a partner that not only listens to what you have to say, but actually follows through with what they say is such a green flag. Paul is always very careful with what he promises, and he always follows through. If he is not sure if he will be able to do something, he never says 100% yes. He usually says probably or maybe. Also, if I ask him for a time he might be home, he always gives me a window. He usually says at the earliest this time and at the latest this time. This actually helps me so much because I am never let down. He tells me my answer without making unrealistic promises. This definitely took some getting used to, but I actually really like it now. Also, if he is ever running late or a plan has changed, he always lets me know, and this is something that is very important to me. He always shows up consistently, and that makes me feel safe and secure in our relationship. If he says he's going to do something, he does it. If I express a concern with him, he makes that change. Because of my trauma from my past, certain actions or words can trigger me, even if they aren't actually bad. But it may elicit a memory in me and cause anxiety. Anytime this has popped up for us, I tell him what is happening, and he is always so calm and loving about it. Once he knows it's something I don't like, he never does it again. Not everyone will experience this the exact same way, but the key takeaway is that a green flag is when your partner listens, respects your perspective, and makes an effort to understand you. So if your partner is showing up when they say they will, calling you when they say they will, making the next necessary changes, following through on their promises, those are all huge green flags. Green flag number 4, emotional maturity and accountability. Paul is actually the most emotionally intelligent person I have ever met. He never gets offended when I bring something up that I didn't like or he could improve on. In fact, he wants me to tell him if he could improve on something. He always takes responsibility if he did something I didn't like and apologizes if my feelings were hurt. He is calm when we have disagreements and takes his time to think about his response instead of just reacting right away. He has also taught me to slow down and think about things before I say it. Having a partner who takes accountability for their actions and acts in a mature way is so important for the health of your relationship. They should own up to their actions and make actual effort to improve on it next time. They should not make excuses for their actions or shift the blame to you or someone else. They should consistently try and change their behavior and communicate to you about it. Don't let your partner dismiss your feelings because they are absolutely real and valid. Your partner should always support you, again, even if they disagree with you. A relationship will thrive when both people take accountability for their actions. Green flag number 5, playfulness and laughter. Your relationship should be filled with fun, joy, and laughter. Obviously, it won't be like this all the time, but it can be like this most of the time. Paul and I laugh together constantly. As soon as we see each other, we instantly get into a better mood and feel happier. It can be the most random thing, but we find each other so funny and fun to be around. I have shown him a side of me that I hadn't even shown to myself. He brings out my inner child and my weird, goofy side that I don't show many people. You should be able to be silly around your partner without fearing judgment. You should be able to have fun together doing simple daily things, not just at big events or milestones. This makes it so much more fun, and you will show up better in all aspects of your life if you have happiness and joy in your relationship. This also goes the other way. The more happiness and joy you have in your life, the better you will show up in your relationship too. Green flag number 6, support and encouragement. You and your partner should lift each other up and support each other through all the hard times and all the good times. Your partner should celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are. When I get excited about something, even if it's so small, Paul gets excited about it too. He never ever feels threatened by my growth or success. He always supports me in my dreams and goals. Even if he doesn't quite understand, he supports me. For example, he is not a very spiritual person. He doesn't believe in certain things that I believe in. However, he always supports me when I talk about it. Although he is not religious, one time when I was really struggling, he suggested praying about it. I was so taken aback because I know he isn't religious, but it was so nice to hear him say that because he wasn't just thinking about what would help him, he was thinking about what I need to help myself. Your partner should also push you to be your best self without controlling or changing you for their benefit. Paul has helped me grow so much. He encourages me to think more positively, take more action, push myself past the point of comfort, and go after my goals. Your partner should always help push you to be your best because they want the best for you. If they are doing it because they want you to change to suit their needs and wants, that is a different story. Your partner should push you and challenge you without trying to control you. I have seen both, and trust me, I know the difference. He pushes me to do things based on my goals, not what he thinks would be best for me. He does bring things up that he thinks will help, of course, but he respects my decisions whether or not I want to pursue that. Your partner should encourage you to go after your dreams, not get insecure when you succeed. It is a major green flag when your partner wants to see you shine brighter, not dim your light. Green flag number 7, emotional and physical safety. Do you feel calm and secure when you're around your partner? Or do you feel tense and on edge? You should always feel secure with your partner and never be afraid to express your feelings. There should be no manipulation, gaslighting, or games. If you set a boundary, that boundary should always be respected. Again, if you listen to my last episode, you'll know how awful I felt physically and emotionally in my previous relationship. When I am with Paul, and even just knowing that he's in my life, I feel this sense of calm and lightness. My shoulders relax and my chest loosens. I feel safe being exactly who I am and trying new things. I always feel respected and loved no matter what. This is so crucial for a healthy and loving relationship. You shouldn't be in fight or flight. Your nervous system should be calm. I do want to note, though, that this can take a while to achieve if you have gone through trauma. Although I always felt safe around Paul, I didn't always feel secure and calm. I had anxieties based on my past, but it was never because of things he did or said. It was my own insecurities and traumas from my past. I was constantly in fight or flight, yet he was still a safe place for me always, even from our very first date. The fight or flight had nothing to do with him. If you struggle with anxiety or past trauma, it's important to ask, is my partner doing anything to contribute to my anxiety, or is this something I need to heal within myself? A good partner will be patient and supportive, but they cannot do the healing for you. Green flag number 8, treating others with respect. Not only should they treat you with respect, but they should treat others with respect too. Anytime we go anywhere, Paul is always so incredibly kind to everybody he encounters. He is kind to grocery store workers, waitstaff, even people just doing their daily errands. He is the type of person who, if he wants to put something back at a store, he will go back to whatever aisle it came from and put it back in the correct place. I've never seen anyone else do this, and it actually made me start doing it too. If I'm about to put something back on the shelf that I decided I don't want anymore and it's not in the right place, I think, okay, what would Paul do in this situation? And then I go back and put it in the right place. One time we were at a grocery store and a lady dropped something and he chased down the item and picked it up for her. He always asks people how they're doing and uses their name when he speaks to them. He's just such a friendly and kind person. This is a huge green flag. How they treat others is a direct reflection on how they treat you and shows you what kind of person they are. If they are rude to service workers or people literally just doing their jobs, what does that say about the kind of person they are? What is that going to teach your future children? If they do that, what will they do to you that they think is clearly okay when it's not? Having a partner who respects people around them is really important. Obviously, Paul has many more green flags, but it's also important to note he is not perfect. I am definitely not perfect, and our relationship isn't perfect either. No relationship or person will ever be perfect. However, this relationship has helped us both grow and heal, and I finally feel respected and loved. I feel so loved by him, and it's such an incredible feeling. I want to go over what to do if you feel like your partner is missing some of these green flags. Like I said, no relationship will be perfect, but effort, respect, and love should always be consistent. It is important to do some self reflection to see if your relationship has these qualities I mentioned. If some of these things are missing, ask yourself, have I communicated my needs? Your partner cannot read your mind, so you have to communicate to them what you need and what you expect from them. Ask yourself, is my partner willing to work on these things? Have you communicated time and time again what you need and nothing has changed? If nothing has changed by now, will it ever change? And lastly, ask yourself, am I settling for less than I deserve? I never thought a love like this one would ever be possible for me, and I know many people feel the same way. But I promise you, the right person and relationship is out there for you. But you have to respect yourself enough to go after it and know that you deserve it. I know a big thing for me is I want my future children to be raised by someone who is loving and kind and shows them how to treat others with respect. I want them to feel empowered and feel like they can do anything. I also want to show my future children what a healthy and loving relationship should look like. I want them to know how in love their parents are and show them how to treat their future partners. One thing I was always worried about in my previous relationship was having kids. I did not want my kids to be raised by someone like that, and I knew we did not share the same values and goals. I did not want my kids to be around a toxic relationship. Now that I'm with Paul, I am so confident that my future kids will have such a good example of a relationship and also be raised the way I want them to be raised because we have the same values. We have talked many times about how we would go about a certain situation with future kids and how we would handle things. We talk about what we want to teach our children and what values and morals we want them to have. Have you spoken to your partner about this? It may open your eyes to see how different your opinions are, or maybe you'll see how aligned you are. To recap, the green flags I highlighted were open and honest communication, shared values and future goals, consistency and reliability, emotional maturity and accountability, playfulness and laughter, support and encouragement, emotional and physical safety, and treating others with respect. So after listening to this episode, ask yourself if you see the green flags in your current relationship. Which green flags do you value the most and are a non-negotiable for you? If you are not in a relationship currently, which of these things will be important for you in a future partner? That is it for today's episode. I hope this episode helped you reflect on the love and respect that you deserve. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can leave a review or send me a message on Instagram at growthroughit.pod. And if someone you know could benefit from listening to this episode, share it with them. Thank you so much for listening, and remember that you are worthy. See you next time.